Hello there, it's me again. Welcome to week 6 of my interminable Southwest Coast Path travel log. It is around 12 o'clock, 12:30 on 12th of September 2020, and as you can see, COVID is still in force. Latest news at time of recording is that they've implemented a new rule, which means the rule of 6, which means you're not allowed to meet with more than 6 people, indoors or outdoors or at home or anywhere. So yeah, certainly not out of the woods yet. And I've just sat for 4 hours on a train with this and my face is really hot. So yeah, anyway, here is Par. This is the delightful heavy industrial China clay works at Par, where I stopped last time a year ago. Didn't do the May trip, as you might have more astute view on the stream would have seen. I went hiking around where I live instead. But I thought, well, you know, why not just go for it this time? I mean, we're not actually in a lockdown, and this is about the most socially distanced holiday I could contrive to come up with. So here I am, another week on the trail, back at Par, back where I got to. So this is week 6 out of 8. It's 100 miles this week, over yonder, over on those hills there. Weather's looking good, so that's a relief. That two or 3 weeks ago there were 50-mile-an-hour winds and heavy rain around here, so that's good. Looking, I think I've just lucked out with the weather. Looking at the week ahead, it's going to be a bit like this really, warm, overcast with a bit of clouds here and there, with some sun later in the week, and temperatures up to about 20 or 21 midweek. So yeah, hopefully that won't be a problem. I'm a little bit out of shape, I think, a little bit out of condition. I've been trying to do just 8 to 12 mile hikes every Sunday of around where I live, trying to keep the old feet in condition and everything. So, and I'm about 6 weeks into the Couch to 5k again, so that's going to be helpful, I think, climbing some of that stuff, but we'll see when we get going. Speaking of which, yeah, because it's 100 miles this week. Even the suggested itinerary makes this a 7-dayer, so I'll probably compress it into 6, but even so, that's still one more day, however we do it, than usual. 100 miles, longest section of the trip. I don't know how strenuous it's going to be. There's going to be a bit of up and down, I think, over there. But I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest. I've missed this. I really have. I've been like a caged animal most of the year. So this is going to be great. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, and we'll see what unusual peculiarities COVID throws up. And probably a lessened availability of pubs, cafes and B&Bs, we'll see. But we'll do the map bit next time I stop. But I need to crack on, because I've decided that because it's a 7-dayer or a 6-dayer or a 100-miler, whichever, I need to make the most of the additional half day that I've got from travelling down early. So I'm starting in Par, and yeah, I know previously when I tried that it got a bit miserable, but I think it'll be all right this time. Oh, hang on, I've done something wrong with the zoom, am I? Oh, I see, when I tap on it, it locks focus. That's new. Must have been some updates. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to crack on. I should probably get rid of this face covering now, because although it is law to wear one on a train with a £100 fine if you don't, I'm probably okay on the trail on my own without one, and it is really quite hot. So yeah, I'm going to divest that and get moving. So first it's going to be off up there, and then round there, and at some point along there I'll get the maps out and I'll show you what's really going on. So yeah, talk to you soon. First sit down stop. Been going for about an hour now. Yeah, about an hour. Got about 2 miles or so. Already gone through one small down the nut valley village, Polkeris, which was charming and has steps on either side, and I didn't even stop. That must be fitter than I thought, so that's good. But yeah, little beach cafes and ice cream shops and stuff, and I didn't stop at all because I'm on a bit of a schedule today. So yes, that's all we got over there. That is all. That's last week. Well, last year, in fact, to be honest. So that on the left there, you probably can't even see the focus and so on, but that'll be Port Melon and Mevagissey, I think, and then somewhere just beyond that headland was the campsite. The last night I stayed out last year. And then over there is Charlestown and Par, and the delightful chemical works. Oh, very busy on here. I mean, it is a Saturday afternoon and everything at the end of a summer where most people have been doing staycations rather than, daring to get on a plane. Be quarantined in Portugal, which I can think of worse things, to be honest. Oh no, I'm now Portuguese. Oh well, easier life, I imagine. Yeah. So what was I saying? That's the China Clay Works at Par, which we sort of had a quick look at last time, and then it was off into the estate and onto a train. So we've basically done the same in reverse, gone to that little beach on the side and then along this coastline. Oh, it's been great. This sort of pale earth and trampled path with the green verdure on each side and the hedgerows, and then down there the sea. That's what I've missed. It's the life I've come to live up on these coast paths. This is very typical of most of the way around, all the way from Minehead, to be honest. This kind of scenery and terrain, I love it. Weather's beautiful as well. A sheltering overcast, which is stopping me being baked, but the temperature's nice. It's about 15, 16, maybe even 17, something like that. There's a nice cooling breeze coming from the southwest. I think we're looking south that way. So yeah, let's do the map bit. So we've got 3 maps this time. So we're starting over here. We are at Par. Hello. Oh, let's try not zooming quite so madly. There we go. Yes, Par, started there. So we're going down to Gribbin Head now, and then off to Fowey. So that's, I've done Polkeris, which is just in there somewhere on the tip of my finger. So that's about 4 miles. Fowey, I'm going to have to try and get a ferry, which is why I want to try and crack on today. Not for too many pasties or ice creams this afternoon, because I want to try and get that Fowey ferry crossing done for the end of the day. I don't know what time they stop service. I didn't really look it up. I want to imagine 5 o'clock, but you never know. So I'm just going to make best speed across there and see what the deal is. If I can't get across, I'll have to just camp somewhere on this side and pass that off as a bad job, really. I mean, you have to go up to Lost Whittle, I think, to be able to cross otherwise. So from there, then we head along south to Polperro, and I think Polperro was the original end of day 1 stop on the normal 52-day itinerary. So if I can get that done in one afternoon, in a half day, that's going to do me well. Anyway, after that, we're on to Loo, where I once visited a beach house, and where there was a very good barbecue and hospitality and party and stuff. Friend of mine rented it with his family. So then on with there we go from Loo across to the next map. So we're going to swing on round to Port Wrinkle, which I believe might have been stage 2, day 2 of the thing. I'm not sure, or that might be day 1. Anyway, from there we go on to here, the Rame Head, Kingsland, and to Plymouth. Plymouth, the only city I'll see on the entire southwest coast path. All the others are towns. And the Tamar, which is this ruddy great river here, this big old estuary, and the Tamar is essentially the border to Cornwall. So once I cross into Plymouth, I'll be in Devon. I'll have done the entire of the Cornish coast path at that point, the entire coastline of Cornwall. So there'll be a lot of faffing around inside a city, in which I usually get confused and lost. I don't know if that was potentially going to be my halfway B&B stop, but I might not even bother with a halfway B&B stop, or with one thing and another. We'll see how it goes. I might just carry on out and press on out the other side onto South Devon, onto the other map here. So from there we basically do pretty much all of this. Newton Ferrers, Big Brion Sea, some great names. Outer Hope, Salcombe. I mean, there's about 5 river crossings on my trip this week, so I'm going to have to do my best to try and negotiate ferries and crossings and so on. I've got some cash, but it's a question of timings as well, and we're quite late in the season now. Although local people must have to cross these rivers as well, dog walkers and the like, so yeah. I think up to the end of September is probably reasonable. Anyway, around the end, and then we go up to about there, just above that 4.9, which will be Tor Cross, 4,9. Just there where that little inland lagoon thing is. That's Tor Cross. That's the end of my week. That's the end of the trip. Then I have to get like a muckabout with a bus to Kingsbridge, and then up to Totnes, and then get on a train there. I think Totnes or Newton Abbot. One of those two is the nearest train for getting home. So yeah, a bit of a faff to get home at the end of it all. But although saying that, there are buses pretty much all day, all the way through each day. So if I get there on a Friday or a Saturday, I can just step on a bus at any point up to about 5 in the afternoon and be home the same day. I think if I end up on the last Sunday, well, I mean that means something's gone wrong, because I will have taken 9 days to do a 7-day hike at that point. I think then, I think I have to be there by about 3 p.m. There's only one bus, so And if it's beyond Sunday, something's gone very wrong because I'm on day 10 of my 7-day itinerary, and I will have to just phone in and tell them I'm going to miss work. And since I'm working from home at the moment, that's not really a big deal. I'll just catch that up elsewhere. I don't see it taking 10 days to do a 7-day trip, considering I normally do 5 days to do a 6-day trip. So yeah, I'm going to try and compress, as well as this bonus half day I'm doing right now, I'm going to try and compress a day off the itinerary, but compressing 7 days into 6 is less hassle than doing 6 days into 5. It means less extra pushing on average over the course of it all. So yeah, here we are. Let's get to it. Heading south at the moment, then we're going to swing around. That'll be an eastern trip most of the way, off to Plymouth and beyond. Over there, that's the China clay workings up beyond St Austell there, that weird pyramid thing, the Eden project somewhere over there in the middle. I told you about all this last year. I can't believe it was a year ago I was on the other side of this bay. God, what a year. That was in the before times, the old normal, I suppose you call it now, before everyone was terrified of everything. Oh well, still saying that, there's a lot of people out and about on this trail, none of them wearing masks, but I don't think you really need to out and about, just keep your distance. Breathe out as you pass people. It's all good. Yeah. It's a usual backpack. 14 kilos this time. I swear it's getting lighter each time. I don't know what I'm not bringing. I'm not bringing the inflatable air pillow because it always gets punctured. It always ends up with holes in, so less than useless if it's got a hole in it. I just brought a little flannel pillow that rolls up, and then I'll just use my clothes bag underneath it or something. Trying to cut down on the non-essentials. Yeah, water bottles are different. Look at that. Got some metal ones this time. The old ones I'd used so often, the plastic around the top had started to split and they were just starting to leak. So I had to get some new ones. But these are better because they're thinner, which means they fit in the exterior side pockets of the rucksack, which means I don't have to undo all the strings and everything to get a drink. So that's good. Oh, yeah, plenty more to yammer on about, I'm sure, as we go. This is only the first 2 hours of a 7-day trek. So, but yeah. Couldn't ask for better weather though. I hope it keeps like this the whole week. I mean, yeah, a little bit of actual sun's nice, but you don't want baking sun for 7 days. This is pretty much perfect for me. Right, onward. That's a good romp. So this is Gribbin Head. As you can see on the map, it's a strange tower, and I saw this from the far side last year. Couldn't work out what it was. It's not really a lighthouse as such. Daymark, I don't know what the name is. Designed to be seen and identified easily during the daytime, I suppose, when you're sailing. They're obsolete nowadays, of course. It's a lovely artefact. Nice thing. Seems to have a door in the side, perhaps you can climb. There's like little window slits on this side. I don't know, there's too many people over there to go and poke around it at the moment, but social distance people, 2 miles apart at all times. Yeah, I mean, even these little day tripping yachts, I imagine the skippers of those have got smartphones with better GPS on than anything known to the 18th century, so this kind of obelisk is largely a folly nowadays. But yeah, wonderful thing. Looks like plastered brick. See the detailing in close up. So a fresh coat of painting not so long to go, I imagine. I don't know if this is National Trust on here or what. Somebody's looking after it. That's pretty clean paintwork. I'll go and have a look when that's dispersed a bit. Anyway, this is more interesting. The next vista, we go around Headland and down that way. And I assume the Fowey ferry is back over there somewhere. That looks like something I'm not going to be able to get across by lashing a load of planks and some oil drums together. So we'll see. I'd ideally like to get to there before 5 o'clock. I think probably I did by about 3:30, looking at the distances involved. I don't know what all that white bits and pieces is on the far hill. That does look quite high though, look at that. Still, it's a climb of gradual stages by the look of it, so it's not going to be just, stairs and bang, up you go, like I've had on some of the North Coast stuff. So we'll see. So yes, doing well though, doing well. Feeling, I don't know, stronger than I thought I would, given the amount of neglectfulness I've approached the past year with, my body and my fitness. But, Yeah, looks like I may have done more than I thought and done enough. Feeling optimistic about it all so far still. Still, it's only the first 3 hours. We'll see. Anyway, down to that little strand there next, and then up and away and across. See the little people, 10 times zoom, like ants going up the hillside. That'll be me in about half an hour, I think. Anyway, gonna go and look at the tower now. Some of these people are moving on. There we go, see, daymark. 84 foot. Built in 1832. Repainted every 7 years. Possible attack by France. There you go. So much of our coast is about that. There you go, you can climb it too. Only not today. Some sort of lintel thing that I can't read any inscriptions on it. Weather worn. Yeah. Right, onward. Time for a rest stop. Well earned, I think. There we go. That's the head, Gribbin Head, where we were, the tower. Go all the way down there, along a sort of concrete weir or dam or something. There's like a cottage and a manicured lawn there and stuff. Lots of people on the beach out front of it. And they had like an honesty box with basically a small fridge on a table with an honesty box for ice creams and canned drinks. You just help yourself, put your money in the box. I didn't have any change. Plus I don't want to keep moving. I'm not going to sit here for too long either. Still haven't hit that ferry yet, but I don't think it's that much further overhead. I think it is basically this side of those white houses. So yeah, I hope they've got a change because I've only got 20 quid now. In my experience, these little water taxis tend not to do chip and pin. Look at all these boats out today. Lots of white sails scooting along. I looked into all that and wild ideas about getting one of these, but it's all just mooring fees and maybe four weekends a year actually out on the water. A lot of scraping. Quite expensive as well. About 30 grand for probably something like that. Those out there. 2 or 3 man jobs. Come on, focus, you know you want to. Yeah, I don't know. 10-20 grand for something like that, I suppose. Plus it has to sit on a trolley, and then you need a car with a towing ball, which I don't have. Or you need somewhere to actually leave it when you're not sailing it. Nice to watch, I think. Plus I'm quite tall, and that wooden thing swings around when you change direction, and then you get clonked on the head, which isn't my idea of fun on a Sunday afternoon. I can just stay at home and clonk myself on the head, you know, save a lot of money. So I think right in the very far distance, I don't know if you can see this or not, that sort of dark shape, that's the headland. I think that is the other side of Plymouth. So I thought we were talking 2 or 3 days away probably. So yeah, I think this headland here probably I'm going to try and get to and round before the end of today, but we'll see how we go. The trouble is there's not much in the way of camping along there, I don't know. Not much in the way of campsites in general along here either, so I expect a wild camp like usual, but it's nice knowing that there's not going to be dangerous winds this week according to the various weather reports. Even so, still want to try and find a low point with some trees if possible. But it's lovely here, beautiful. Sweeping hills of green and blue sea and mostly blue skies. Sun's dappling the hillsides with shade and light. This is Daphne du Maurier country apparently, according to the sign on yonder daymark there. Daphne du Maurier, who wrote The Birds and Rebecca and Lorna Doone, is that right? I don't know, that sort of thing. Can't say I've read any of them myself. I might have caught a bit of a period adaptation on telly of 1 or 2 of them or something. But yeah, she apparently Gribbin Head. I think she lived and died in Polkerris, which I just came through earlier today. So this is the sort of countryside she based her novels on. So that would mean a lot more to me if I'd read any of them. Hey ho. when I press on the screen I get a yellow circle. There must be a sort of manual focal point thing. I think they've updated this software since I last had a serious go with it. What else it does I have no idea about. Anyway, up and over there next, and try and sort out a ferry. Although given the number of people I've seen up and down this path today, more coming up behind it, that ferry must be doing some pretty brisk trade today, so I expect he's got a big old bag of change, so 20 quid note shouldn't be a problem. Oh, yeah, good. Just going to sit for a bit and relax. Feet are doing well. I think I need a relace. I think I need to tighten up a bit. It's a bit loose on that foot. Get it sliding around on the upper section, so don't want that to develop into any blisters as we go. Brought plenty of socks this trip, so I'm going to try to do a bit more sock changing, but I think blisters are basically an inevitability. They kind of go with the turf as far as I'm concerned. They're worth it. It's an endurable pain that's worth the price of admission, as it were, just to get this kind of accomplishment. Yeah. So I think what I saw on the train on the way here from so I don't know if we're going to get that far around. I just did see going on the train sort of Dawlish kind of way, where the Cornwall line, there's the main line goes right against the sea edge. I looked in the distance to the south and saw a whole load of ocean going, ocean liners, ferries, that sort of thing, great big boats, all parked in a big corral. And I saw that earlier in the year, went up to Weymouth and saw a whole load of them in Weymouth Harbour, just sort of doing circles, 7 or 8 massive ocean-going cruisers just sort of sat there. Because of the quarantine and everything, they're just out of business, so they're sort of stuck in a holding pattern there, waiting to be useful again, I suppose. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to rest for a bit and then crack on. So this is Fowey, I think that's Poluran on the other side. I need to be over there today, basically. That's the only real goal I set for myself. And that's good, because I can even see a boat, look. It looks like the ferry. Have they got change for cash? I'm sure I can figure something out. Good. So that's the ferry done anyway. That's the thing I needed to do today. And now we're the other side, £2.30. Even had change for 20 quid, so that's good. So now I'm treating myself to a sit down and a pint of lemonade. It's all very COVID in there. Stripy lines on the floor, arrows, perspex everywhere. Not very welcoming, but I don't care. So, about 4 o'clock now. Reckon I got probably another 2 hours of solid hiking and then an hour of looking for a suitable hedge to collapse in. That should put me about 6 miles away. I don't know, something like that. We'll see. Bit of a relax now then. So on the move again, heading up there next. So just seen a sign that says Polperro 6.5, and that is actually the end of day 1 of the proper hike, and this is really a bonus day. So if I can get there today, got about 3 hours of useful daylight left. If I can make 2 miles an hour, which is, a reasonable pace, I could probably be there by sunset. But the trouble is I don't really want to be there at sunset, because that'd be the middle of some sort of coastal village town with me trying to wild camp in the middle of their car park or something. So probably what I'll try and do is just get a mile or two this side of Polperro and then just call it a day there. So yeah, if I can get that 5 miles in 3 hours. So lovely. This all looks, I had a little look on the Google Maps and terrain and all the rest of it, and basically from here to Polperro it does all look rather headlandy, rather up country, cliff top stuff, and ideally I'd want some trees or a dell or something to put the tent in. I mean, I know it's not going to be dangerous winds tonight, but just good practice really, safety first and all that. Looking for somewhere to camp, somewhere a little bit sheltered is always preferable. But yeah, it's surprisingly good progress today then, if I'm only a couple of miles away from the end of what will be my first day, which I otherwise would have. I mean, the original plan was to spend today travelling down here, get a B&B or something, and then strike out tomorrow. But if I'm already going to be most of a day ahead, and then that's even before I start trying to compress the 7 days into 6. So we'll see. Yeah, feeling tired, feeling weary, but that's the nature of the thing. It's aches, not injuries. It's yeah. That lemonade picked me up quite a bit there. Give me a bit of a zing. Don't know what it is about lemonade. It's like the fuel of the gods or something. Just large amounts of cold water with plenty of vitamin C in it, or chemicals to that effect. Yeah, refreshing. That's the word. So yeah, that's Pol Ruan, I think. Opposite side from Fowey, or Fowey, or whatever they call it. Bit of a windy old trek up through the little quaint streets. Lovely little place, sort of good retirement potential. But not for me. I'm moving on. So yeah, let's go and get on to the ups and tackle this next couple of miles of headland. See where we're at when the sun goes down. My first night out in a year. Yeah, I think last time I camped was this time last year, so it's going to be interesting. So it's about 6 o'clock. Got about an hour and a half left of daylight. So in these valleys, the sun's already gone down where I'm saying. Yeah, I reckon it's probably around the end of that far headland. It does look a bit like 4 miles to me in total. I'm not going to do that in an hour and a half. That's near jogging speed that, and I'm tiring a lot. Feet getting a bit achy now. It's that half day trying to get a day's hiking in again. I thought I'd be all right, but yeah, wearing out a bit. But that's okay, because like I say, this is a bonus day. The hiking doesn't really start until tomorrow, so if I'd have started and done the whole day doing this, I probably would have had an extra 4 hours in which to be doing this, which would have comfortably put me around the end of there, I think, over the course of the day, with more rest stops, less pushing myself. So yeah, not too worried. I'm not going to get to Pol Perro today, but that's okay. Mainly I'm worried about where I'm going to find to camp out. I mean, I'm sat on a bench here. That there, look, is actually big enough and relatively flat. It's relatively far away from the edge, and we're on I think this is a sort of southeast facing cliff. The winds are westerly, so they'll mostly be, well, you can see those trees blown over there, they'll mostly be coming from that sort of direction. But I'm not going to get blown off the edge of a cliff. I'll just end up in some hedge, end up in some ferns. Now they peg down properly, it won't be an issue anyway. So I could set up here, but that means I'd have to sit around here for an hour and a half. So there are still people up and about on the trail, so I don't really want to sit still in one place for an hour and a half. But feet don't really want to try and preserve the feet a bit as well, so it's a bit of a dilemma. Otherwise I need to just press on and hope my luck holds when sunset actually turns up, that I can find something similar to this. Quite inclined to just pack it in and sit here for a bit. That'll leave me with about 3 miles to the start of day 1, which I can probably catch up over the week certainly, and more. I'll do that tomorrow morning. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. This does look like a bit of a... let's get up and have a look around. This does look like a bit of a godsend, really. I mean, it's a little bit slopey, but, compared to much of the rest of the path, it's certainly big enough. And no fresh animal dung anywhere. Suggests that there's no grazing going on in this this sector at the moment. Well, there's actually no, hang on, tell a lie, what's that, sheep? Yeah, sheep. Well, I don't know. Don't mind the odd sheep. I mean, blimey, I paid about £5 for to spend a night in a field with sheep, complimentary sheep at Tintagel. So that was a proper campsite that just had sheep roaming across it. I could hear grass tearing noises in the night. But they didn't get in the tent, they didn't eat the tent, they didn't bother me. So this might work. Or I can keep going. I'm sort of tiring a bit. Might be prudent to stop early today and then pick it up in the rest of the week. Don't know. Only I can decide. It's lovely here, as ever. See people down on the rocks there, fishing and whatever. All these little secluded bays and beaches, they're not that secluded. You get a lot of people trekking out here with a family hamper. Get away from the mad crowds on the proper beaches and the big places. Plymouth and whatever. Plymouth doesn't have beaches. What am I talking about? Whatever. Yeah. So I keep forging on. I mean, yeah. I'll get another mile or two in tonight, but not sure I'll find something quite as useful as this again. This stretch of coast is quite desolate and path only. It's all path is mostly sort of like that kind of thing, you know, on the side of a scree-laden fern bracken slope. Not much in the way of flat ground along this section. Yeah, how flat does this look? It's flat enough, certainly. I mean, I'm going to get the whole blood rushing to my head thing anyway. I think if I pitch on this end, it's a bit more level. I'll set one up over here a bit. It's got potential. I think we might have started to see the last people going backwards and forwards along here today. Bench of the Dead. Given by Grace Ansley in recollection of happy times spent here with family and friends. Fair enough. Take that to be an omen. Stuff's talking about the campsite, not the bench. Okay, well that puts a new perspective on things. There appears to be some sort of Land Rover of a farmer type capacity. Perhaps I ought to keep on moving for a bit. Anyway, I'll have a think. Yeah, decided I'm going to set up pitch here. I just don't think I'm going to find anywhere better in the hour of sunlight I've got left. Look at the path ahead. That's all exposed hillside, much like this, only there's no guarantee of a large wide open flat space with a bench on it, so I probably won't make it past the end of there tonight. Not in an hour, it's all quite far away. Yeah, the Jeep. I think the Jeep is basically, there's been quite a few people down on that beach there, you know, fishing and rock pooling and stuff, dogs, whatnot. So I reckon probably that Jeep's some local farmer who's just popped down to the beach. Don't know. I don't care. I genuinely don't think I can make it to an actual campsite in the time I've got left. It would be unsafe to continue, etc., etc. And I'm not going to cause any trouble. I should be gone in the morning. I don't have time to stay around and make trouble. So yeah, pleased with the progress today. Extreme zoom there. Oh no, that was half. Oh god, I get confused. That's 8.4. No, that's no use. There we go. So yeah, first night here I think. So yeah, reasonable progress today. I think I've gotten about, I don't know, 7 or 8 miles in the afternoon since getting off the train at about 12:30, and that includes about an hour of faffing around in park to get back to the trail, and then lots of mucking about with the ferry as well, a few sit downs, that sort of thing. I think if I had a whole day I'd have an extra 4 hours of hiking time probably, or a bit more. Up at 7. 5 hours between 7 and 12, so yeah. So I think I probably would have finished this day stage no problem if it had been a full day, but I don't really, I mean I could potentially, if I'd really pushed, I could have potentially finished this stage today, but that put me in Polperro looking for an actual bed and breakfast or whatever with no bookings, and I don't know how that's all going to pan out with the Corvids, so just getting a pint of lemonade was a bit of a Andromeda strain style ordeal in that pub there, so you know, I think if desperation strikes I probably can manage to sort out a night in a B&B, but you know, there's carrying all this around with me, I might as well use it. So yeah, it's a bit noisy with the sea there, but if you actually put your head down near the ground there, this line of cliff actually blocks a lot of it. The noise is direct line of sight noise mostly. So if you lie on the ground on this grass bit, you can't hear it so much. So it's good. But yeah, it's lovely up here. Another nice place to hang my hat for the night. Fitness people running. That was me earlier earlier the last week and for the last 6 weeks. Couch to 5k. Of course, it's a bit more interesting up here, I suppose, than just pounding the pavement around my estate where I live. But yeah, I could push. If I push, I might get a bit further, but you know, probably would find a more precarious campsite and hurt my feet unnecessarily on day one. So try and preserve it a bit, because I think that was the problem I had last week 5. I was trying to compress a bit too much, I think too hard early on, and I found I ended up I compressed the first 3 days into 2, and that was really quite harsh, so I ended up with some quite painful blisters colouring my perceptions of the whole thing towards the end. So yeah, I'll take a bit of somewhat an easier view. I've got 3 miles, I think, until Polperro, maybe 3 or 4, which I think I can probably easily catch up with tomorrow on what was going to be day 1 of the actual trip. So I'm already 7 miles, most of a day's hiking ahead on the plan, just by not bothering to stay overnight in Par and start fresh from there. So it's good. I could only really do that because the transport connections are really easy going. I just got a train to Reading and got one train from Reading to Par and then stepped off it and immediately began hiking. The coast path is like 10 minutes walk from the station at that end, so as opposed to Totnes, which is going to be a problem for week 7, but I'm not going to worry about that now. Totnes and Torcross and all the rest of it. No, that's fine now. Yeah. Oh, what's that? What I spotted there, my eagle eyes. Is that a body? Pile of rocks? Someone's rucksack? Who knows? Did see someone come in the other way in the distance with my super 10 times zoom, and they looked like they had the full kit, you know, tent roll on the top and everything, but they sort of went around that, they came up this here and then they went around there and disappeared. And that was about half an hour ago, and that's easily near enough to have come out this bit since then, so I reckon they've gone up inland and found somewhere to dump a tent as well. Who knows? Oh, it's a victimless crime. Don't ask, don't tell, all that. But yeah, I'm just not sure. Well, it's not safe to carry on hiking from here to anywhere civilised in the time I've got left, because it will be dark and I'll die, as we found out last time. That wasn't good. Lucky I managed to stumble across a flat bit in the dark and get the tent up. Who knows what might have happened if I'd have kept going. So yeah, there's still some people out enjoying the sunset, their dogs. But I think a lot of them are winding up now and heading home, so that's good. I mean, I won't even get the bag open until proper sunset, which I think is about 45 minutes away or so. So I'm just kind of, you know, killing time on this promontory, which is a marvellous place to kill time. Splendid. So yeah, got my usual hip flask of amaretto and various bags of nuts in the top there. Had quite a lot to eat on the train, so I don't know if I need to really eat this evening. But yeah, and then I can pick up some proper breakfast in Polperro when I get around the end of that headland and down. By the time I arrive in Polperro, the shops will be opening, that kind of thing. It'll be Sunday. I've got my mask there. I mean, you know, fine, yeah, a lot of pubs and restaurants and pasty shops might be feeling the pinch, and I don't know, I think I'll have to actually try and talking to some people and asking, but I reckon this season in Cornwall's probably been a lot stronger than, despite all the COVIDs, you know, the COVID-19, despite all that, I think people have been coming to Cornwall with a family instead of getting on a plane and going to a distant European country uncertain of the knowledge if they'll be allowed back again. Sudden 14-day quarantines being applied to, you know, various European destinations, often sometimes whilst British holidaymakers are still out there. So yeah, so Cornwall starts to look like a much more attractive proposition, and it is a lovely place, you know, not as exotic as, you know, Sicily or wherever, but look at this place, magnificent. So I don't know, but regardless of all that, you know, regardless of the state of the B&B and hospitality industry in Cornwall, the Cornish people still need to shop. People who live here still need to eat, so they'll be buying all their stuff from local spas or co-ops or whatever. They can't all save it for the big shop in Taunton or whatever, or the big shop in Truro. So yeah, I imagine most villages of any kind of size will have somewhere I can get some stuff to just load in the bag or munch on my way out and carry on. Doesn't have to be the usual gastro tour of every flipping harbourside pub between here and Minehead, although I do enjoy that. Anyway, right, I'm going to sit here and try not to. It's gotten quite cold. I've got my coat on because it's gotten quite chilly now. The direct sunlight has stopped because of this hillside, and also I'm covered in sweat, which frankly smells of vinegar, so you know that's quite pleasant. And yes, I'm getting a bit chilly, so just sat here, not pumping the legs and moving on. So got to wait for the sun to go down proper, and then I think I can legitimately put the tent up without any real worries or fears. Still a lot of people out enjoying the last rays of the sun. There's a couple on the promontory right on the end there. Can you see that? Anyway, there you go. Look. 3 people silhouetted against the dying light. Never silhouette on the ridgeline like that. Makes you a target. See you coming. Could prepare an ambush if I was so inclined. Yeah. So yeah, gonna shut up for a bit and enjoy the view. It'll probably be too dark to show you the tent and stuff, so probably I'll say goodnight here and see you tomorrow.